Let's talk about BlackRock. Ever heard of them? They're not laying pipe or welding steel, but their worksite, the entire planet. Back in '88, they were just another Wall Street startup. 8 guys with a dream and a whole lot of ambition. Fast forward to today, and they're managing over $10 trillion. That's trillion, with a T. More money than most folks can even fathom. The story of BlackRock is one of dizzying ascendance, a rocket ride to the top of the financial food chain. They started with bonds, the bedrock of fixed income, but they didn't stop there. They diversified, expanded, gobbled up competitors like a python swallowing its prey. Now, they're a behemoth, a financial colossus bestriding the globe. What's scary is, most folks have never even heard of them. They operate in the shadows, pulling the strings of the global economy with quiet, ruthless efficiency. They're the puppet masters, and we're all just dancing to their tune. This ain't some conspiracy theory, folks. This is the reality we live in. So, what exactly does BlackRock own? Short answer, everything. Okay, maybe not everything, but it sure feels like it. We're talking stocks, bonds, real estate, you name it, they got a piece of it. From Apple to Exxon, from your local grocery store to that fancy tech company your nephew keeps raving about, BlackRock's tentacles reach everywhere. They're the largest asset manager in the world, and that ain't no accident. They've been on a buying spree for decades, snapping up companies and assets like they're going out of style. And they don't just buy a little slice, they go for controlling stakes, enough to call the shots, to dictate the direction of entire industries. Think about that for a second. One company, with more power and influence than most governments, silently shaping the world in their image. They're not just investors, they're architects, designing the future according to their own blueprint. And what happens when that blueprint doesn't align with the needs of the people? That's a question we might not like the answer to. Now, you might be wondering, how do they manage all this? How do they keep track of trillions of dollars spread across thousands of investments? The answer? Algorithms. BlackRock isn't just a financial powerhouse. They're a tech giant in disguise. They've poured billions into developing sophisticated algorithms that analyze markets with inhuman speed and precision. These algorithms are their secret weapon, their crystal ball into the future of finance. They crunch numbers, identify trends, and predict market movements with uncanny accuracy. It's like having a team of Wall Street wizards working around the clock, ensuring BlackRock stays one step ahead of the game. But here's the thing about algorithms. They're only as good as the data you feed them. And with BlackRock's vast reach, they have access to more data than anyone else on the planet. Data on consumer spending, market trends, even government policies. It's an information advantage that borders on the unfair, giving them an almost omniscient view of the global economy. Here's where it gets really interesting, folks. Because BlackRock owns so much, they're often the largest shareholder in competing companies. Think about that. They own a piece of Coke and Pepsi, Ford and GM, Apple and Microsoft. They're on both sides of the fence, playing both ends against the middle. Now, some might say that's just smart investing, diversifying your portfolio. But when you're as big as BlackRock, it goes way beyond that. It gives them the power to influence entire industries, to shape markets to their liking. They can decide which companies thrive and which ones wither on the vine. And it's not just about profits, folks. It's about power. The power to dictate terms, to set the agenda, to control the flow of capital. With that kind of power, you can reshape the world in your image. You can decide what technologies get funded, what products get made, even what ideas take root. Section 5. The Index Fund Illusion, Passive Investing, Active Influence. Now, BlackRock likes to portray themselves as passive investors. They say they just follow the market, investing in index funds that track the performance of specific sectors. But don't let that fool you, folks. There's nothing passive about BlackRock's approach. They're the largest provider of index funds in the world, and that gives them enormous sway over how these funds are constructed. They decide which companies get included and how much weight they carry. And those decisions have real-world consequences, influencing the flow of trillions of dollars in investment capital. So, while they might claim to be passive observers, the reality is far different. BlackRock is an active participant in the market, using their influence to shape outcomes. to nudge the market in their preferred direction. They're not just riding the wave, they're the ones creating it. Section 6. Too big to fail. The systemic risk of BlackRock. Now here's the really scary part, because BlackRock is so big, so interconnected with every facet of the global economy, they've become a systemic risk. What does that mean? It means if BlackRock were to ever stumble, the whole damn system could come crashing down. Remember the financial crisis of 2008? That was triggered by the collapse of Lehman Brothers, a relatively small player compared to BlackRock. Imagine the chaos, the panic, if a company 10 times their size were to go belly up. It would make 2008 look like a walk in the park. And the worst part? There's no safety net big enough to catch them. No government bailout, no magic wand that can undo the damage. If BlackRock falls, we all fall with them. It's a sobering thought, and one that should give us all pause. Section 7. Whispers in the shadows, conspiracy theories, and BlackRock. Now, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but when it comes to BlackRock, it's hard to ignore the whispers. Some folks say they're more powerful than governments, that they control central banks, that they're pulling the strings of the global economy from behind the scenes. Are these claims true? Who knows? But there's no denying that BlackRock's power and influence are vast, unprecedented in human history. And with great power comes great suspicion, a natural human reaction to forces we don't fully understand. The truth is, we may never know the full extent of BlackRock's influence. They operate in the shadows, their motives obscured by layers of corporate bureaucracy and financial jargon. But one thing's for sure, they're a force to be reckoned with, a shadow empire that looms large over our world. Section 8. The Unseen Hand. BlackRock's influence on global politics. Now, BlackRock might not be a government, but they sure as heck wield a lot of political power. They've got former politicians and central bankers on their payroll. Their lobbyists roam the halls of power, and their donations flow freely into the coffers of political campaigns. They understand that political influence is essential for protecting their interests, for shaping the regulatory landscape in their favor. And they're not afraid to use their clout to get what they want, whether it's favorable tax breaks, deregulation, or government contracts. Some might argue that this is just how the game is played, that all large corporations engage in lobbying and political donations. But BlackRock isn't just any corporation, they're a behemoth, a financial superpower with the resources and the reach to influence policy on a global scale. Section 9. A future molded by BlackRock. So what does the future hold for BlackRock? And more importantly, what does it hold for us, the average folks caught in their web of influence? It's a question that keeps me up at night, folks, and it should give you pause too. As BlackRock continues to grow, as their tentacles reach further into every aspect of our lives, their power to shape the future becomes undeniable. They'll have a say in everything from the energy we use to the food we eat, from the homes we live in to the jobs we work. Will they use their power for good? Will they champion sustainability, social responsibility, a more equitable world? Or will they prioritize profits above all else, exacerbating inequality and concentrating wealth in the hands of the few? Only time will tell. Section 10. Conclusion. The Shadow Empire looms. So, there you have it, folks. A glimpse behind the curtain. A peek into the world of BlackRock, the shadow empire that looms over our lives. They're a force unlike any other, a financial colossus with the power to shape our world in profound ways. Whether you're aware of them or not, they're there, working behind the scenes, pulling the strings of the global economy. Their influence is undeniable, their reach unparalleled. And as they continue to grow, their power will only intensify. The question is, what will we do about it? Will we stand idly by as they reshape the world in their image? Or will we demand transparency, accountability, a say in our own future? The choice, as always, is ours.